Well, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dave Rowe. I'm one of the artists this evening, and I'm also a board member for the World Folk Music Association. And this evening, I am pleased to be presenting this co-bill with myself and Jud Caswell. Jud is a very dear friend of mine. We have been coming up through the folk music ranks here in the state of Maine for years and years. I think I first met him at an open mic in Portland, Maine, where I live. Boy, it must have been almost 30 years ago now, Jud. But anyways, Jud has had some wonderful things happen to him of late. He has a brand new CD live at the Seagull Shop, which was #1 on the Folk Alliance list of CDs. Was that this year or last year, Jud?
That was March of 2020.
March of 2020.
Yes.
And it
Absolutely
was also,
the most eventful thing that happened in March of 2020, I'm sure,
no doubt.
for all of you.
And it also was in the top 20 records of the year on the Folk Alliance list. And I think you told me it made #5 on the NAC folk chart, which is also impressive. So I'm not going to take up any more time. I want you all to listen to Jud Caswell.
Thanks so much, Dave. It's great to be here. Thanks for inviting me along. And I'm going to do the unfortunate thing. Well, you always have to start. If you're going to have banjo, you may as well get it out of the way early. In case we've got any allergies to banjo here, you've got plenty of time to get that EpiPen handy. This is a song that I started singing a lot more about 4 years ago. It was a song I needed to remind myself of. When I wrote it, I thought I was writing a kid's song, but turns out that I was sort of writing a song to the kid in myself, trying to remind myself to keep moving forward. Looking at the mountain and it seems too steep to climb. Looking at the mountain and it seems too steep to climb. Takes a lot of courage and it takes a lot of time. Put one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other. That's the way we climb. Looking at the sadness and it seems too deep to mend. Looking at the sadness and it seems too deep to mend. Look into a stranger's eyes until you find a friend. Put one hand in the other, one hand in the other, one hand in the other. That's the way we mend. And looking at our differences, it seems too hard to love. Looking at our differences, it seems too hard to love. But everyone's the same about the most important stuff. Listen to each other, listen to each other, listen to each other. That's the way we love. And looking at yourself, seems there's nothing you can do. Looking at yourself, it seems there's nothing you can do. And if you do the best you can, well, I will do it too. And we'll lean upon each other, lean upon each other, lean upon each other. That's what we can do. Looking at the distance, seems too far to go. Looking at the distance, and it seems too far to go. The road that leads to justice may be longer than we know. But put one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other. That's the way we go. Looking at the mountain and it seems too steep to climb. Looking at the mountain and it seems too steep to climb. It takes a lot of courage, takes a lot of time. Put a 1 foot in front of the other, 1 foot in front of the other, 1 foot in front of the other. That's the way we climb. Put a 1 foot in front of the other, 1 foot in front of the other, 1 foot in front of the other. That's the way we climb. Thanks. I could almost hear you all singing along with that through the computer. That's the one thing I miss most about the technology that we're living with these days. It's very sad to not have a chance to see your faces and get to be making this music in the same room together. But soon. Man, that song was such a. I hung on that one last year. You know, put 1 foot in front of the other. I don't know about the rest of you, but I know all of us had to make pretty big changes last year. Those of you who are also musicians, you know, have a sense of the kinds of changes that Dave and I are having to make. One of the changes I made was I started, it all shut down for me and probably for Dave as well right before St. Patrick's Day. You know, our days are very full on St. Patrick's Day. And I spent my St. Patrick's Day, plugged into a computer and playing some Irish songs for the first time ever. I had never done live streaming, had never done this sort of video stuff. And within a couple of weeks, I was making a video every day in a series that I was calling The Morning Cordial. So I recorded 120-something videos over the course of the summer. And what I was trying to do was just share a little bit of warmth, just a little bit of a distraction, just a little bit of a reminder to keep your head up and keep moving, playing some of my favorite songs of mine and of other people's. But a lot of songs about Maine, too. It felt like that the record last year benefited from the fact that I think a lot of people wanted to escape to Maine in March. Maine felt like a good place to go. So I'll sing you a song about Maine. I'll take you here for just a little bit. Lately I've been chasing after little things that always slip away. Living in my calendar and living in my car, instead of living in the day. But a wind blew down from Canada this morning like a warning shot of cold across my bow. So now I'm out here in my sandals, getting bloodied by these brambles and eating all the berries I'm allowed. Cause it's blackberry time. Blackberry time. It's a secret of a season in its prime, when all the world is full and ripe and quickly going by. Well, then it's blackberry, 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 blackberry time. Air is full of cricket song and hayseed, honeybee and dragonfly. The last full day of summer, baked and cooling on the windowsill. Smells a lot like apple pie. And up beneath the popple and the birches, at the border where the grass has gone to trees, I've got those stains upon my fingers and an aftertaste that lingers. 1 part sweet, 1 part fruit, and 2 parts seed. Blackberry time. Blackberry time. It's a secret of a season in its prime, when all the world is full and ripe and quickly going by. Then it's blackberry, 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 blackberry time. wish I had a cup to fill, to take this harvest home and to make it stay. And I wish I had that recipe to press it into wine and seal the flavor of the day. Watching from a silver maple's branches, there is a catbird who sings a hungry kind of song. He says, be thankful for the sweet, because you know that it don't keep. You just eat what you can eat, and then you move along. When it's blackberry time, blackberry time, it's a secret of a season in its prime, when all the world is full and ripe and quickly going by. Well, then it's blackberry, 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 blackberry time. Blackberry time. Thanks a lot. Reminds me of that old Zen, what's the sound of one man clapping? Thank you. I got a friend who's a songwriter and a lobsterman and a lawyer. Sometimes you need to hang a lot of shingles out when you work on the Maine coast. Named Nat Hussey. Great guy, great writer. And he was sending out an email one fall talking about how he was planning on making it through the winter when the months were going to get lean and the work was going to go a little spotty on him. Things tend to go sideways when you live out on Matinicus most of the year. And he called his plan for getting through the winter, he called it his get poor slow plan. And I emailed him right back. I was like, Nat, that's a song. You got to write that song. And I gave him a few days to do it, and then I just wrote it myself. Cared about money much. I never had a lot to throw around. I never cared about the fancy cars. Just give me something that can get around town. I never thought I would amount to much. I never wanted to go too far. All I wanted was to spend my days picking songs on an old guitar. If anybody asked me what my plans were, I'd say I don't know. Some people wanna get rich quick. I'd be happy just to get poor slow. She never cared about money much. She never had a lot growing up. She's got an eye for the Goodwill gold. She makes it look like $1 million. She don't need to buy caviar, don't need the pearls or the symphony, just a cider and some takeout Thai, Jane Austen on the DVD. She told me when she met me there was something that I should know. She said some people wanna get rich quick. I'd be happy just to get poor slow. So I asked her if she'd marry me and wear that little ring. I said, you know the best things in life are free. And she said the best things in life are not even things. So now we got a place to call our own, apple tree growing in the yard. It seems there's always something else to do. It seems we never have to work too hard. Little girls out on the swings, the smell of smoke coming off the grill. Maybe later we could bundle up, sit and listen for the whippoorwill. All I wanna ask her is, baby, when did you know our life was gonna get rich quick, trying just to get poor slow? And our life sure got rich quick, trying just to get poor slow. Oh.
Yeah.
Thanks. I guess for the last year, getting poor slow has been a huge sign of success.
You got that right, Judd.
Man. I'm gonna play another tune for you here, and then we'll kick this over to Dave for a little bit. This is a song that I wrote. I guess I wrote it last February. It was a song I've been thinking about for a long time, and it opens up with a little story about my grandparents. It's a true story, and it's a detail about them that I don't ever remember learning. I just remember always knowing it, and I've been thinking a lot about them because of this for some years now. Nana was a registered Republican, and Pappy was a Democrat for life. You never heard a word of anger pass between that husband and his wife. People kinda wondered why they bothered to even take the time to put on coats, go out to the schoolhouse on a Tuesday night to cancel out their votes. It used to be, there was a time we could agree to disagree. Before the slide into the Great Divide. Now every word I hear about my country feels like gasoline poured on a flame. Seems like everybody's picking sides and picking fights, calling names. And everywhere I look I see the anger. Every conversation fills with trolls. Everybody knows the party lines. We wave our signs, we play our roles. But it used to be, this land of us and them was made for you and me. But I guess that died in the Great Divide. Yes, I know you didn't start this fight, and I've heard the other side is more to blame. And I know that there's a wrong and right, and we can't afford to lose this game. We're all losing just the same. 'Cause we get kinda stupid when we're angry. It's easier to hurt a herd that hates. They play us like a sucker on the line each time we rise to click the bait. Oh, but there's a simple, hard solution, older than the oldest grudge you've nursed. Someone's gonna have to lay their sword down, but someone's gonna have to do it first. And it seems to me we've forgotten who's a friend or enemy. And you'll recall that a house divided surely is gonna fall. Fall for spite and fall for pride into the Great Divide. Nana was a registered Republican, Pappy was a Democrat for life. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, man. I feel like I should just introduce you as the man who needs no introduction. I think it was Raoul's Roadside Attraction, probably, where we met, right?
It was.
You were playing with our good friend, mutual friend Glenn Tavares at the time, Jeffrey Glenn Tavares at the time, and playing in a trio together. And I think Jeff introduced us also. Miss that guy. The worst great sense of humor of anyone I know.
Serious
or
puns.
the greatest terrible sense of humor of anyone I know. I don't know which one.
Hey, he's been down in Austin for over 20 years now. It's hard to believe. Where does 20 years go? I still haven't figured this out. It feels like it was just yesterday. See you, Jeff. And come down to visit sometime. Anyhow. Well, for those that don't know, Jud mentioned that he's from Maine. He's in Maine right now, so am I. We both live here. Even though I'm on the board of the World Folk Music Association, I live in Maine. I don't know how this happened, but here I am. And this is a Maine song that I wrote about an island off the coast of Maine called Boone Island. Boone Island, for those that don't know, was the subject of many books, shipwrecks. Terrible things have happened on Boone Island. And this story only documents one of them. It's a ghost story. It's a little spooky. And it's about a couple that were stationed on Boone Island. In those days, it's a terrible place. It's a rock about the size of the room I'm standing in with a lighthouse in the middle of it. And it took the government 3 tries to get a lighthouse to stay on this island. They built the first one, of course, out of straw before they tried sticks, and you know the rest of the story. But it's such a desolate and dangerous place that, well, how do I put this? Lighthouses got washed off the island. Literally. I wasn't joking about that. And so anybody who got stationed there, well, they drew straws to see who would be. No one wanted the gig. And this is about a couple who were newlyweds, drew the short straw, and ended up out there. It's called The Keeper of the Light. Of Boone Island off the coast of Maine, your story's often told. How you drift across the boulders when the winds blow wild and cold. Sailors hear your mournful wails when squalls come up at night, and they know they're in the presence of the keeper of the light. Why do you walk these broken rocks forever, Catherine Bright? So many men, we've seen you when the waters rage at night. A sad-eyed apparition, shrouded all in white, lost in time and memory, the keeper of the light. We all heard about your husband, he was the keeper of the light. How he drowned in raging waters on that fateful winter night. He kept the lighthouse burning strong to keep the sailors warned, and saved the lives of countless men the 5 days of the storm. Why do you walk these broken rocks forever, Catherine Bright? So many men, we've seen you when the waters rage at night. A sad-eyed apparition, shrouded all in white, lost in time and memory, the keeper of the light. When they found you in the lighthouse, once they'd made across the reef, you drifted into madness with exhaustion and grief. For 5 days without food or sleep, you kept the ships from harm. Then you sat down with his frozen, lifeless body in your arms. Why do you walk these broken rocks forever, Catherine Bright? So many men, we've seen you when the waters rage at night. A sad-eyed apparition, shrouded all in white, lost in time and memory, the keeper of the light. Why do you walk these broken rocks, forever captive bright? So many men, we've seen you when the waters rage at night. A sad-eyed apparition, shrouded all in white, lost in time and memory, the keeper of the light. You're lost in time and memory, the keeper of the light. You're lost in time and memory, the keeper of the light. Yeah.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Well,
Wow.
thank you, Judd. Thank you very much. I just did something in that song I don't think I've done in 20 years. I dropped my guitar pick.
Oh my gosh.
About halfway through the song, I was just going, and then it was gone. Oh well, these things happen. It's show business. And hey, I'm not going back to fix it because we're on the internet here. We're just between friends. For the last, last June I got home. Let me start there. Stacy and I, we cruised the Great Loop, which is this amazing trip by boat around the eastern United States. We circumnavigated the eastern United States. We started in Florida. We went up the East Coast, and we went up the Hudson River, and teed off onto the Erie Canal, up into the Great Lakes, spent a month in Canada, and then came back down the inland rivers, including the Mississippi. We spent some time on the Ohio, the Tennessee Tom Bigby Waterway, all the way down to Mobile Bay, and then back into the ICW, took us to Florida, went around and through Florida, took the Okeechobee Waterway, and back up the East Coast to home. It was an unbelievable trip. And I don't think I've written so many songs in such a condensed time in my life as on that trip. And this is one of them. This is a song that I wrote. We were in Pensacola, Florida. We spent a month in Pensacola. And the boat was tied up on the end of a T-head. So we were basically at the end of a marina, right on a bayou, and we could just see beauty all around us. And we'd get up in the morning and have our coffee with the seabirds, and watch the dolphins play. I was thinking to myself at the time, because this was just one of thousands of places that we were over the course of that one-year journey, where I thought to myself, wow, this is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen, one of the most beautiful places I've been. And it struck me that in order to see these things, you had to do it from a boat. It's not something that just anybody can do. You have to have a boat. You have to be on a boat and be willing to put a year of your life on the line to do it. And I felt enormously grateful for that. And so I wrote this song. It's called Before the Time of Man. Twilight falls, starlight calls, darkness chills the air, and far away the heart will stray, a yearning with no care. And through this night the winds might fight, though none the victor be, till morning light on western bight see. This scene has played 10 million times. It's seen by far too few. This life, this glimpse is but a flash to me. It's all so new. Tides rise and fall on granite wall, carved not by human hands, to count the days in ancient ways before the time of man. Before the bend where rivers blend and brackish water churns, the trees reach out with weathered bough, the leaf that sunward turns. And through it all these eyes must fall on visions few will see, unbidden gaze through morning haze unto the frothing sea. This scene has played 10 million times. It's seen by far too few. This life, this glimpse is but a flash to me. It's all so new. Tides rise and fall on granite wall, carved not by human hands, to count the days in ancient ways before the time of man, to count the days in ancient ways before the time of man.
That's gorgeous.
Thank you. Thanks, Judd. Yeah, it was a wonderful trip, and it had, like anything else, and anything in 2020, honestly, it had its ups and downs. This song was one of the downs. When we were on our way back to Maine, we were in New Jersey. We spent probably almost 2 weeks trying to get through New Jersey. It was just the time of the year when the open ocean was not real friendly. And New Jersey has inland waterways. It should take probably, 4 days to do the inland waterways in New Jersey. It takes about 2 days to do it on the outside in the open ocean. But as I said, the weather just wasn't agreeing with us, and we found ourselves stranded on the wrong side of a broken drawbridge for 4 or 5 days. And when we finally did get through there, we were just so thankful. And we started cruising again, and 2 nights later, we were at anchor when I got word that my cousin had passed away. He had become sick suddenly, had a stroke, and one thing led to another, and after 4 or 5 days of battling it, he just succumbed. We grew up together. He was very, very close to me, and it was an enormous loss. I haven't played this song much because, frankly, it's hard to get through. But I'm going to give it a shot right now and see how it goes. It's called Boyhood Hallelujah. Two boys who would be cousins when a marriage made them so. Learned to swim and skip rocks at the lakeside down below. Played with dogs and pocket knives, carving secrets onto trees. Took turns at doing young boy things, riding bikes with bloody knees. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. They grew up in two different towns, but played similar games. Had Christmas round the same tree, gave each other funny names. Went off into the bigger world as adult paths disentwined. Boys both still recalled boyhood pursuits while enjoying family time. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. As life moves on and time flows like a river to the sea, these boys grew into young men, lived their lives both separately. These kids both raised kids of their own and shared what they had learned. Those summers back so long ago for which the boys and them still yearned. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. The news hit like a freight train, it was a long shot he'd survive. The texts and calls so far away, still he seemed so much alive. Without a warning, like a thief, death did pull these pals apart. A boy, a man with memories and a shattered beating heart. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
What a tribute.
Thanks, Jud.
That's really nice.
Thanks a lot. Now I'm trying to decide what to do next, and I think I've settled on it.
Sure, I'm glad I don't have to follow that one.
This is a song I wrote after a long walk. I think you've probably heard this song a lot, Jud, through the years, because this is one of my earliest tunes, and it's one that sticks with me. I was taking a long walk in the woods, and I came upon this huge maple tree, the type you can't get your arms around. It's probably had been there 100 years, 200 years, 300 years. God only knows. And I noticed that somebody had carved some initials in it. And I thought to myself, this poor tree, it's been standing here 300 years and somebody has to come along with a pocket knife and hurt it like this, poor tree. And then I looked at it more closely and I touched the carving, realized that the bark had grown into it and that the tree was none the worse for the wear. What I was looking at was a moment that had been preserved. Somebody's moment, somebody's special moment. So I wrote this song. It's called The Lover's Tree. It's a summer night, the moon is bright, the stars they are dancing, and the fireflies are silver in the trees. Hear the thicket ring, the crickets sing, the birds are romancing, and we're sitting in a field on our knees. And I can hear you breathing my name. I can feel all the love in your eyes. And I know you can feel all the same. Those are feelings no heart can disguise. On this holiday, the world will play, and we will be dancing to the music made by two hearts in love. And if you never see me again, if you're to leave me and never return, then I will hold this close to my heart. It's on a page that I never will turn. But I have no fear, for you are here, and I'll leave you never, together till the leaves finally turn. It's an autumn day, colors fall away, still the tree stands forever, where we carved our names the night that we met. In 100 years, lovers walking near will see us together. That tree's a memory that never forgets. And I can hear you breathing my name. I can feel all the love in your eyes. And I know you can feel all the same. Those are feelings no heart can disguise. On this holiday, the world will play, and we will be dancing to the music made by two hearts in love.
That's super.
Thank you, Judd. All right, it's your turn, pal.
Music is one of those things like it's like a perfume or the smell of a particular food that sometimes the right one at the right time, it takes you back to a place or it takes you back to a time more strongly than anything else. There's something so immediate about it, and it's so much fun listening to you play because like. You know, that song does that because I know that song. But the crazy thing is, like, your new songs do that too. Like, there's something about your guitar playing. It's just the way you put notes together, the way you put music together. It just is so. It's so you. It's so distinctive, and it's so. There's just something. I don't know. It's just really great, and. It takes me back to I don't know. It's quintessential.
I know what you're saying because I feel the same way about your writing. We probably could spend an entire afternoon in a mutual admiration society.
Well, I don't know. What are you doing?
Jud Caswell's
So I want to play a tune that's you got me in 3/4 here, or in 3, and so you and I have both spent some time in Irish pubs. On
too much.
I wouldn't go that far. Well, maybe
I started when I was 15, Judd.
maybe you have. I came to it later in life, but I decided as a songwriter that I should, as a songwriter who was playing a lot of Irish music, that I should write my own Irish traditional song, and so I studied the canon. And I decided that, discovered really, that Irish music seems to be principally about poor decision making, often around the subject of food and drink. And it reminded me of a story. It reminded me of a moment that I spent with another musician friend of mine. And the names have not been changed to protect anyone, guilty or innocent. But this is my own sort of, Irish cautionary tale. Poor Mike McGuire got drier and drier as he sat and he stared at the beer in his hand. I pulled up a chair and I asked him his trouble. He said, "You never have seen such a fool of a man." Before I went to the bar with this pint glass for filling, old Patrick, he asked me, "Is it more of the same?" And it must be the devil was up on my shoulder, for I ordered this Budweiser, much to my shame. Now it's pour me a Guinness, never a bitter, a brown or a red. If ever I order a pale or a porter, promise me, Patrick, you'll do as I've said and pour me a Guinness instead. Now your Germans are proud of their precious Octobers, and the Dutch have their Heinies, and the Chinese their Ching. But it's enough to drive any good Irishman sober, this beer the Americans crowned as their king. Now it's pour me a Guinness, never a bitter, a brown or a red. If ever I order a pale or a porter, promise me, Patrick, you'll do as I've said and pour me a Guinness instead. Now your black and tan lover, he's a man of half measure, for half of his beer is as clear as his glass. And he says it's half full, but I see it's half empty, and it just barely covers his pale English bass. And it's pour me a Guinness, never a bitter, a brown or a red. If ever I order a pale or a porter, promise me, Patrick, you'll do as I've said and pour me a Guinness instead. For Guinness is smooth as a shopkeeper's daughter, sweeter than midnight and blacker than sin. And if I can just finish this tankard of water, I never will stray from my Guinness again. And it's pour a Guinness. Never a bitter, a brown or a red. If ever I order a pale or a porter, promise me, Patrick, you'll do as I've said and pour me a Guinness instead.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a nice one. Are we trading back and forth now?
Yeah, we are. Let's do that.
All right. That, have
If
you
you're game.
heard, I want to say the man's name is John Campbell. He wrote a song called Put the Budweiser Back in the Clydesdale. You should look that one up. That's,
That sounds like a great Irish pub song.
it is. And I think your song reminds me so much of it in so many ways, and in so many ways it's so different. It would make excellent comrades in your set list.
Oh, that's great.
All right. Oh, I'm going to stay right here. This song is not a monument to my indiscreet youth, but it is yet another Maine song. It's a story that was told to me backstage by a very dear, now departed friend. He said, "Dave, you have to write a song about this." And he was a jokester, so I took very lightly anything he ever said to me. But this one time, he was dead serious. I could tell. He said, "You have to write a song about this." The song is called "The Stranger," and it's about the stranger in gray. And for those who don't know, the stranger in gray is a corpse in a cemetery, brought to Maine by accident during the Civil War. The town of Gray, Maine sent more men than any other town in the state of Maine. So this particular cemetery's got a huge Civil War section. And right smack dab in the middle of that Civil War section is the stranger's marble stone. The stranger was a Confederate soldier brought by accident after the death of Lieutenant Charles Colley following the Battle of Cedar Mountain. And in those days, if you wanted your loved one back from the war zone, you had to pay the War Department to ship the body back. And the Colley family did that. And when the coffin arrived, they did the unthinkable and opened it and realized that the War Department had not shipped them their son, but a Confederate soldier still in uniform. And so they wrote the War Department and said, "What should we do?" And the War Department said, "You could pay us to ship him back," which they didn't think was a terribly good idea. So the family themselves bought another plot in the same cemetery. They decided that he was somebody's son and he deserved a proper burial. So they buried him like their own. And then the town took up a collection, bought the stone. And to this day, on Memorial Day, the grave gets decorated with flowers and a rebel flag. From that Cedar Mountain battle of 1862 came a fallen soldier's casket as the 10th Maine paid its dues. The grieving parents braced to see their Union son lay dead, but in his place they found a boy in southern gray instead. As the tears rolled down their faces, they searched vainly for his name. But they never learned to journey to their village here in Maine. Without the funds to send him back, he was buried like their own. And there above his resting place, they carved stranger on the stone. And the stranger in gray is lying there today, a misdirected casualty of war, surrounded by the ones who fired the Union guns. The stranger in gray will see Dixie nevermore. Fate must have a sense of humor as it winds along its way, for it led that gray-clad stranger to a little town named Gray. But even when the real son, he was found and buried there, the town made sure the stranger was included in their prayers. And when the ladies place the flowers and the flags are left to wave, beside the stranger's flowers a rebel flag flies on the grave. Now he lies with the others who in life he sought to kill. All the rifle fire has ended, the cannonballs are still, and flowers of blue grow softly by that stranger's marble stone, to show to all that blue and gray don't have to be alone. Yes, the stranger in gray is still lying there today, a misdirected casualty of war, surrounded by the ones who fired the Union guns. The stranger in gray is no stranger anymore. Yes, the stranger in gray will see Dixie nevermore.
That's super. I didn't know that story. Wow.
Can't make that stuff up.
No. Well, I can't. That is true. I can't make that stuff up. So while Dave was traveling from, the Gulf Coast to Canada and down through the heart of America and back, I was doing a similar journey myself, from my kitchen out to my deck, and then occasionally to the grocery store. I was sort of the year for me was about home. It was about being close to home, and a lot of the songs, which is, I write a lot about home, and this is a song that was a little bit of it's kind of a lullaby, not really a lullaby, but it's about that time of day. It's called Phoebe on a Fence Post. Phoebe on a fence post, fly away, fly away. Phoebe on a fence post, fly away home. Green snake in the sweet grass, slide away, slide away. Green snake in the sweet grass, slide away home. 'Cause the sunset through the birches paints a picture on the wall. The dandelions are closing and the hermit thrush calls. So Phoebe on a fence post, fly away, fly away. Phoebe on a fence post, fly away home. bathtub, splash away, splash away. Baby in the bathtub, splash the whole floor. Well, mama in the kitchen, sing away, sing away. Mama in the kitchen, won't you sing a little more? 'Cause there's moonlight on the window and the chicken's home to roost. This train is bound for bedtime, so shake that red caboose. And baby in the bathtub, splash away. And mama in the kitchen, won't you sing a little more? Brown bat in the starlight, sweep away, swoop away. Brown bat in the starlight, dancing on a breeze. And there's peepers in the frog pond, and they peep away, squeak away. And peepers in the frog pond are singing through the trees. And there's a barred owl in an oak tree, like the ghost of Robert Frost. He's asking about the yellow wood, the two roads, and the cost. While the peepers in the frog pond peep away, squeak away. And a brown bat in the starlight is dancing on a breeze. Phoebe on a fence post, fly away, fly away. Phoebe on a fence post, fly away home. Thank you. Thank you, Dan.
Nice song. Well, if we're going to talk about home, I'll talk about an old home. When I was a kid, my dad took me out in the woods near his home, where he grew up, and where I did an awful lot of growing up myself. And he had something he wanted to show me, and I didn't know. I couldn't even wrap my head around what he was showing me at first. We're out there in the middle of the woods, and there was this strange outcropping of rocks that clearly had been put there by somebody. And he told me, he said, mind you, I was young. I was probably half the age of any of your kids, Judd. He told me, that's an old cellar hole, which blew my mind. There used to be a house here, Dave. And I just couldn't even conceive that this was where a house once stood. It was not a very big foundation. It wasn't a very big house, obviously. And nearby, there was a spring that came right out of the ground that was the water source for this house. It was their well. It took me 40 years to write a song about that cellar hole. But here it is. Old ring of stones where once did stand a dwelling where family grew. Old well has water in it still. Who lived here I wish I knew. Who called this place a house, a home? Why did they leave it bare? Was it a fire that drove them out, or they live out their last years here? Old cellar hole cut in the ground, in my mind's eye I see a table, some chairs, and a feather bed. Hearth and candle give light to read. Hearth and candle give light to read. that ends right where a door hung straight and strong, kept out the cold on winter nights, kept out the nights till dawn. Old cellar hole cut in the ground, in my mind's eye I see a table, some chairs, and a feather bed, hearth and candle give light to read, hearth and candle give light to read. Somehow this spot calls to my soul, somehow deep down I know. From age to age we move along, all we leave behind to grow. Old cellar hole cut in the ground, in my mind's eye I see a table, some chairs, and a feather bed, hearth and candle give light to read, hearth and candle give light to read. And as the walls to dust did crumble, and roof gave way to moss, who here did mourn what this forest consumed? Who stood here and felt this loss? Old cellar hole cut in the ground, in my mind's eye I see a table, some chairs, and a feather bed, hearth and candle give light to read, hearth and candle give light to read.
It's beautiful.
Thank you, Judd.
You know, so many songs that you're playing today are reminding me of this song that I'm working on right now, and I've been working on for a long time. I've been working for months, and really pretty actively I've been working on it. And so I'm going to do the really I'm going to do the unwise thing and play it for you. It's a song that I'm trying to work up the courage to play this for the person who I wrote the song for. And I'll tell you, I think I may have finished it during your previous song. I brought the words up, and I looked at them, and there was this, you know, as there always is, you know, 2 weeks ago there were 5 or 6 lines that I was still working on, and then a week ago there were 3 or 4 lines, and then today there's been a couple lines that I was still working on, and I guess I'm curious whether or not this song is done. So needless to say, the song has never been played anywhere before.
Let's have it.
40 years since that tractor started, the barn fell down and they hauled her out for parts, and I took her home to see what might be done, and if a stubborn man could make her run with a drop of diesel, a little oil, weeks of patience and days of toil. And when I hear her running good as new now, something sparks inside me. I think of you, and I go out in the woods to work on the land with my hands when I can't cross the spans of my heart. Out in the woods, trying to put back together the pieces that keep falling apart. Out in the woods, and you can see how this looked before. All the trees the wind blew down can't even fall to the floor. They got tied in tangles halfway down, and they can't see the sky, and they can't touch the ground. Lately that's a thing I understand, so I drive the tractor down and take a saw in my hands. I've been tied in tangles since you died, and I can't feel the ground, and I can't see the sky, so I go out in the woods, hauling out dead falls to make way for stone walls to mark where you lie. Out in the woods, working the land while I can, knowing someday I'll rest by your side. Out in the woods. Out in the woods, cutting a hole in the sky for the sun and the rain. And I'm out in the woods to hallow this ground while the wind in the crowns cries the sound of your name. Out in the woods.
Nice.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
I'm honored to hear that first.
Thanks.
Wow.
For being here.
Well, sort of in the spirit of what you were saying earlier about us being Irish pub flies for so long, Judd, I think I'm going to pull one out. I'm a rambler, I'm a gambler, I'm a long way from home, and if you don't like me, you can leave me alone. I'll eat when I'm hungry, I'll drink when I'm dry, and if moonshine don't kill me, I'll live till I die. I've been a moonshiner for many's the year. I spent all my money on whiskey and beer. I'll go to some hollow and set up my still, and I'll make you a jug for a $2 bill. I'm a rambler, I'm a gambler, I'm a long way from home, and if you don't like me, you can leave me alone. I'll eat when I'm hungry, I'll drink when I'm dry, and if moonshine don't kill me, I'll live till I die. I'll go to some hollow way out on the lee, 10 gallons a wash, I can go on a spree. No women to love me, the world is all mine, for I love none so well as I love the moonshine. Here we go! I'm a rambler, I'm a gambler, I'm a long way from home, and if you don't like me, you can leave me alone. I'll eat when I'm hungry, I'll drink when I'm dry, and if moonshine don't kill me, I'll live till I die. Now moonshine, dear moonshine, oh how I love thee. You killed me poor father, but you never killed me. Now bless all moonshiners and bless all moonshine, for their breath smells as sweet as the dew on the vine. I'm a rambler, I'm a gambler, I'm a long way from home, and if you don't like me, you can leave me alone. I'll eat when I'm hungry, I'll drink when I'm dry, and if moonshine don't kill me, I'll live till I die. I'm a rambler, I'm a gambler, I'm a long way from home, and if you don't like me, you can leave me alone. I'll eat when I'm hungry, I'll drink when I'm dry, and if moonshine don't kill me, I'll live till I die. Is that vodka?
No, it's the right glass for the occasion.
The right glassware.
But it's the wrong contents.
I'll take it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's super. That's super.
Little
That's
known
great to hear
trivia
that.
on that song. That's not actually an Irish song. It became an Irish song. You probably know this, Judd.
I don't know if I do.
Yeah, it's originally an American folk song.
Really?
Yeah, from the early 20th century. And it became an Irish song when the Clancy brothers and Tommy Makem recorded it.
Sure.
Borrowed it. That's why it's mentioned moonshine and not pochine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's super. How are we doing for time, Dave? Do I have time to play another song for you?
I want you to play another song. Let's have
Yeah?
it.
I feel like I should drag this instrument out. But man, I gotta say, I do sorely miss getting a chance to sing some of these songs in the Irish pubs, and it's just not the same playing for your children. For some reason, they're strangely they're much too well behaved. It's the only time you find somebody say that about their kids, I suppose. But this is an instrument that has been a constant companion of mine for the past 10 years as I travel from, concerts to pubs and the instrument's called a cittern. It's it's instructions you could conceivably give to a dog. Sit, turn. And it's built by a guy named Nick Apollonio. Do you know Nick, Dave? Are you a friend of Nick's?
Nick and I have never actually met, but we are in the mutual admiration.
Yeah, absolutely. Nick is in Gordon Bach's sort of circuit. Nick and Gordon go way back. And Gordon actually designed this instrument with Nick. It's a 10-string instrument, which is either 4 strings too many or 2 strings too few for a guitarist really to do anything with. So, but it's a lot of fun for playing like Irish tunes, and I'm curious if I still know any. Beggar man, a begging I have been for 60 or more in the Settle Isle Green. I'm known along the Liffey from the basin to the zoo. Everybody calls me by the name of Johnny Doo. Of all the trades going, sure the begging is the best. When a man is tired, he can sit him down and rest. He can beg for his dinner. There's nothing else to do but to sit there on the corner with his old rigadoo. Barn one night in Currabon, a shocking wet night it was. I slept till the dawn. There were holes in the roof, rain coming through, and the rats and the cats, they were playing peekaboo. Who should I waken but the woman in the house, with her white spotted apron and her calico blouse? She began to frighten and I said, boo. don't be afraid, it's only Johnny Doo. Girl, all walking out one day. Good morrow, little flaxen-haired girl, I did say. Good morrow, little beggar man, and how do you do? With your rags and your tags and your old rig-a-doo, I'll buy a pair of leggings and a collar and a tie, and a nice young lady I'll go courting by and by. I'll buy a pair of goggles and I'll color them blue. An old-fashioned lady I will make her too. The high road with my bag upon my back, over the fields with my bulging heavy sack, with the holes in my shoes, toes peeping through the thing, and skin of a ring-a-doodle with my old rig-a-doo. I must be going, for it's getting late at night. The fire's all raked and out is not a light. Now you've heard the story of my old rig-a-doo. Good and God be with you from old Johnny Doo. Thank you.
That takes me back. Do you know that song? Well, I recorded that song myself on a CD a number of years ago, and I recorded several others. It was a project. It was called Big Shoes, and it was just a project filled with Irish pub songs, basically. And one of the songs that I recorded on it was Tommy Makeham's Four Green Fields. And I was backstage with Tommy Makeham at a show shortly after the CD released. And I handed the CD to Tommy. I said, Tommy, I recorded one of your songs. I thought you'd like to have this. And I handed him the CD, and he turned it over in his hands. He's reading the titles on the back. He says, no, you didn't. You recorded 3.
Oh, my gosh.
He actually owns copyright on that song, The Cobbler, as well as everything he's also written. Any song that he collected or his mother collected, Sarah Makeham, he owns copyright on, or owned copyright on. His estate does now, but so they're actually not in the public domain, which I didn't know. I told him the check's in the mail. He says, don't worry about it.
That one, you said Beggar Man and Four Green Fields and Cobbler?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Wow, I did not know that.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
All right. Well, since we're deep in the trenches of folk music here, I'm going to do a song I wrote that's, well, let me put it this way. I got a call from, and we probably should, I should preface this by saying we probably should think about wrapping this up, Jed, as much fun as this has been. So let's get our thank yous in. I want to certainly thank you for doing this with me, and thank my buddies down at the World Folk Music Association for hosting this whole thing.
Yeah, and Chuck Morse
and Brent and everybody else down there.
Yeah, and I want to thank you for inviting me to be a part of this.
Not at all.
It's been great.
When they contacted me and said, "Hey, let's do something together," I immediately thought of you because, I've always really just loved your songwriting, and I thought this was an excellent opportunity for you and I to do some work together, and maybe it's the first of many.
First of many. Yeah, hope so.
We'll all get our shots and do some real shows.
Yes, that's right.
A number of years ago, I got a call from a folk DJ, And he said, Dave, he said, I'm playing a few of your songs on my show on Sunday morning, and I thought maybe you'd like to know that and listen on the internet. And so, happy to oblige such a request, I tuned in. He didn't tell me where in the show the songs would lay, so I listened to the entire 2.5-hour show. And I listened to probably 90 minutes or more of nothing but guys with acoustic guitars bemoaning their pitiful love lives. And my thought was, this isn't folk music. This is people whining about their love lives. To me, folk music, it has to go through a process. And, you know, I know that being singer-songwriters, we play a lot of folk clubs, and we are embraced by a lot of card-carrying folkies because what we do really comes out of a tradition. But yet I really don't consider anything that I've written to be folk music because it just hasn't gone through that process. The process that ends with being able to walk down the street whistling the song and somebody picking it up and whistling it with you or singing it with you. It's just until it arrives to that point of critical mass where everybody knows the song. Everything the Beatles ever wrote, I think at this point, pretty much falls into the folky category. Didn't in 1965, but... So anyways, I found myself getting distraught with the fact that all of these songs I was hearing were just people whining about their love lives and not being folk music, as the masthead on the radio show said. And I actually uttered the words. I shouted at the stereo. I said, "Your love life will never be a folk song." And then I thought to myself, boy, that has an almost song-like ring to it. Maybe I should write that song. So I did. And I've been playing this to end my shows now for a little while. It's called Folk Song. It's not a folk song, but if you're sitting home singing along with this, even if you're not singing along with this, when you get to the line in the song that says, "Your love life will never be a folk song," have at it. That's for you. It goes like this. It may be tragic the way she's done you wrong. The very fabric of this world has come apart since she's been gone. You thought your pen and guitar could fix the problems of your heart, but your love life will never be a folk song. Yes, your love life will never be a folk song. It was special, you know, the world just has to agree. The way she looked at you and you were so cool with that guitar on your knee. From the very start she brought new songs into your beating heart. Now she broke it and we all know how she tore it all apart. It may be tragic the way she's done you wrong. The very fabric of this world has come apart since she's been gone. You thought your pen and guitar could fix the problems of your heart, but your love life will never be a folk song. Yes, your love life will never be a folk song. Folk songs have been around and sung for many years, sung by young and old in many kitchens, clubs, and theaters. Start singing one and folks around you join in harmony. So that breakup song you wrote for her ain't folk, you must agree. It may be tragic the way she's done you wrong. The very fabric of this world has come apart since she's been gone. You thought your pen and guitar could fix the problems of your heart, but your love life will never be a folk song. Yes, your love life will never be a folk song. It may be tragic the way she's done you wrong. The very fabric of this world has come apart since she's been gone. You thought your pen and guitar could fix the problems of your heart, but your love life will never be a folk song. Yes, your love life will never be a folk song. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. But your love life will never be a folk song. Yes, your love life will never be a folk song. Oh, your love life will never be a folk song. Yes, your love life will never be a folk song. Thank you. Thank you, Judd. This has been a lot of fun. Thanks for doing this, my friend.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure. My pleasure. Looking forward to more.
There will be more.
I'm looking forward to seeing everybody down in DC soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Good night.